Yeah, well.
When is it coming? Nobody
Winter
knows.
is coming.
Well,
When it's coming, nobody knows, Smalls.
Fair question. I'm just
It's on
saying.
Tuesday, but nobody knows.
A mystery.
Buffalo beat
mystery
Pittsburgh
nor'easter.
yesterday in a game where I think Pittsburgh got snowed out basically in the second half. 26-7. They were up 7-0. They left up 26 points unanswered after that. The Steelers are now 6-6. Yeah, but there's a problem because it's remarkable that the fans were going crazy yesterday, booing Tomlin, basically booing everything, and fire Tomlin chants. Good luck on that one, Steelers fans. I'm sure you can get a better coach than Mike Tomlin, first ballot Hall of Famer. Anyway, they were saying fire Tomlin. And then after Aaron Rodgers got knocked around a little bit, and to his credit, he came back in the game and played through the injuries. He called out his wide receivers a little bit post-game.
I know what you're trying to ask. When there's film sessions, everybody shows up. And when I check to a route, you do the right route, Like, John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in-breaker, and he ran an out-breaker. John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that. But, I threw a ball I thought was going to get hit by the wind, and it was 4 yards over Roman. So, throw. I got to make that throw.
They're 6-6. They're not technically in the postseason right now. Rodgers is kind of calling out his wide receivers for not being there on time for meetings. The fans are booing the team. Fire Tomlin. Is this the beginning of the end for both of these parties, Rodgers and Tomlin in Pittsburgh? We watching this end right now?
Man, if it does end that way, it's a hell of a resume for Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career. You burn it down with the New York Jets, and then you follow that up by burning it down with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a hell of a way to go.
Can I add one thing to that? The year after he was there in Green Bay, they did better. The Jets still have a chance to do better this year with 3 wins now after the win yesterday than they did last year. 5 wins. That's on the Aaron Glenn has done a heck of a job in the last 5 games. And since what I will say is he got his team.
So what you're saying is these franchises are all the better for moving on from Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, we're trending in that direction, are we not? I don't want to solely put it on him, but are we not trending that direction here? Is it impossible for the Jets to win 3 games?
No, I don't think that's crazy. And
they're
I
playing
think,
hard.
Yeah.
And I think that this is very much a play the results type of situation. Aaron Rodgers has created a circus-like atmosphere at the end in Green Bay. He did the same with the New York Jets, and it feels like it's trending in that direction with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is a franchise that we've always lauded for being buttoned up. Mike Tomlin is a coach that we've always given the benefit of the doubt to. But I'm past that point with this version of the Steelers. Yesterday was abhorrent. I can't remember the last time the Steelers got manhandled in Pittsburgh. They gave up 250 yards rushing yesterday.
Yeah.
It's the most they've given up in Pittsburgh in 50 years. Literally 50 years, 1975. They got beat up from pillar to post. And Aaron Rodgers is the face of that after taking that sack early in the third quarter from Joey Bosa. He got up with his nose bloody, shaking his hands. That's exactly what it feels like in terms of watching that Steelers team yesterday against the Buffalo Bills. That's what it felt like. Aaron Rodgers was the personification of the state of affairs for the Pittsburgh Steelers program in the direction that the team has been trending in the second half of the season. They faded late last year. They seem like they're fading this year, but it's going to go faster because you have a quarterback that's a week away from turning 42 years old. And he's not going to be good enough in order to right the ship and get things back on track.
But Aaron Rodgers is the latest face in what has been a continuous problem for the Steelers. And I don't blame their fans for being upset. They always talk about the standard being the standard there. They have not won in a long time. And I mean this with all due respect because you can never take away the resume from Aaron Rodgers. But Steelers fans are probably sick of a consignment quarterback. They're sick of them just shopping around in the offseason, trying to get whoever is available for whatever price, and they don't have the quarterback of the present and of the future. And while it's not good enough right now in Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin is catching the ire of the fans, this has been a problem for them for some time, where they have talent on the team, but they cannot get the quarterback that they can have for a while and grow into. And Aaron Rodgers is the latest instance of that, where they waited all offseason for him. They said they were comfortable going with Mason Rudolph, which no one really believed. They waited for Aaron Rodgers to exhaust every other option before he went there, and it was essentially an arranged marriage at that point. Neither party could go elsewhere. And while it was okay for some time, we're watching it unravel in real time.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, it's amazing. Like, if all these parties had a do-over, Aaron Rodgers should have gone to Minnesota, right? Like, that would have made more sense for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And the Steelers, I went nuts at the time. Why, when Matthew Stafford had an inch of a window available to get him, you did not try to get him? Why did you not try to overpay? Okay, then even...
Probably because they knew he wasn't going anywhere.
All right, well, then maybe Sam Darnold. I can't believe I'm saying that because I don't believe in Sam Darnold, but I believe in that concept more than whatever's happening right now. They have to draft a first-round quarterback now. But here's the problem. They're going to be in no man's land to draft a first-round quarterback. They're not going to get the top of the heap, so they're going to say, okay, is this an overpay for whoever slides to them? Well, then the best way of dealing with that is you should have stockpiled multiple picks, which means you probably should have taken advantage of the window you had to trade TJ Watt. Now you don't have that window. Everything they have done here has backfired. And yet still, guys, they still may win the division through all of this. I'm not suggesting they're the best team out there. At DraftKings Sportsbook, the odds right now, Ravens are minus 250 to win the division. Steelers are plus 300. CC's outside looking in, shot of. Keep an eye on the Bengals at plus 900, okay? So this weekend, is it impossible to think the Bills, who they just played, obviously, could beat the Bengals? Of course not. Could the Steelers beat the Ravens? Yeah. And who's in first place?
Okay, but if they win the division, they get into the playoffs, how much confidence do you have in them to win a playoff game?
Zero.
Okay, well then
and I don't know who
the
they're
exact
playing,
same
but
results.
It's zero.
The Steelers ain't winning the division. They're not.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that it's amazing that they still have a shot. And they
That's
should...
an indictment on everybody else in the
That's
AFC
correct.
North.
Yes, it
But
is.
it's also an indictment on the Steelers they haven't run away with.
That's what that is. Well, yeah, we said that earlier in the season. We said that months ago, that the Pittsburgh Steelers had no excuse to lose this division. I think they were something like 3 games up in the win column against the Baltimore Ravens or the next closest team in the AFC North. It was ridiculous that they didn't have an opportunity to take this thing, run away, and hide. But they didn't. They didn't. They're an old team. And it feels like they've gotten caught up in this cycle of doing the same thing over and over again, which is relying on a star-studded defense, takeaways, short fields, extra possessions, and the offense just being serviceable enough in order to get to double-digit wins. Well, that ain't going to happen this year. When you look at the remaining schedule, it's just not going to happen. You got 2 dates with the Baltimore Ravens. You got a road date with the Detroit Lions. It just doesn't feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to fix all of the things that ails them. It just doesn't feel that way. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the organization and Mike Tomlin need to take a long, hard look and decide whether or not this partnership makes sense into the future. Because if the Pittsburgh Steelers can't do better than what they've done as a franchise when it comes to the quarterback position, then you're going to have one of the most talented coaches of a generation not have a chance to get back to the championship rounds. I'm looking at this thing through a different lens now. Before, everybody wanted to point the finger at Mike Tomlin and say, oh, it's his fault. And I'm not saying that he's not culpable and that he shouldn't be accountable for the product that we're seeing on the field. But I've graduated to the place now of feeling like the organization is doing a disservice to Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
That's where I'm at right now with Pittsburgh. At some point, it's got to stop. They've got to figure out how to solidify the most important position in all of team sports with more than just a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I think if you're Mike Tomlin right now, you flip the script a little bit. Here's my list of quarterbacks I'm interested in for next year. If I don't have any of these by this date, I'm out. Enough. Like, I'm done trying to make something out of nothing.
Well, if you get to the place where you're given an ultimatum in a relationship, the relationship is over. And I think that's where I'm at with Pittsburgh. The relationship with Mike Tomlin has run its course. He needs a fresh start. They need a fresh start. And I'm not saying that Mike Tomlin, has lost it or anything like that. I think he'd have his pick of jobs if he ended up, being available.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's clear that what they've been doing in Pittsburgh is not working, and they're not going to be able to get out of it until they make dramatic changes. And to me, the dramatic change is at the top spot with the head coach.
All right, coming up, we go one line. Every game around the NFL, one-liners plus Lane State University. We will get to that in a little bit as well. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.